I was meeting with like the vice principal about this situation.
Look, I'm a bully. He's my brother. It's fine.
I always say this: if I didn't make a girl cry once a week, then I failed my mission.
What? I didn't know if I knew this. It's actually sadistic. For Jonah to do something like that in the middle of like school was so shocking.
We had a goal of 3,000. We raised over 9,000, but it felt like COVID was really specific to me. It was weird.
The whole thing happened because of you.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the first episode of Jonah and the Pod, the long-awaited. Today is just going to be an intro episode. It's going to talk about the podcast, talk about, I guess, my testimony, and it'll probably just be a session for like if I was the guest. So today I'll introduce our, I guess, guest but host, my brother Anthony.
Hello, everyone.
So to start off, I guess just the whole vision of the podcast, I'll share. So just having people on. Look, a lot of people will probably be Christians, but it doesn't have to be just Christians. But just hearing people's testimonies, hearing people's life stories, that will be the initial thing. So if someone is on for the first time, I want to hear their testimony and hear their story. If they come on again, then we can just start talking about other things, like whatever's on their heart. And I guess that's when the waffling starts. So funny thing is about me starting a podcast is that my voice and throat, they don't work properly. It's chaotic. So I realized this as I did the podcast. You're going to see a lot of this throat. You're going to see a lot
I can attest to this.
You're going to see a lot of throat. Wow. You're going to see a lot of throat clearing. But I'm trying to work on this. I have some specialty that will help with my throat.
Here's a specialty. We're also filming in the morning.
Yes,
and Jonah doesn't wake up until the afternoon usually.
No, that's a lie.
Unless he's working, but anyway.
Look, the mornings are not the best for me. So yeah, it is also morning. So bear with us, bear with me. You probably look in the next few podcasts. I don't actually do a lot of talking, which is better for you guys. But you'll hear from guests, and yeah, I think you'll enjoy them.
So you're gonna, the first session that you have with people is just their life story. Okay, and today will be your life story.
Yep.
Nice.
Today will be, I guess I want to intro the podcast first, say what it's about, and then we'll get into my life story, I guess. Yeah, so the reason, testimony, stories, and then later on, just talking about what's on people's hearts. The point is, I guess for me, I get to hear so many different stories and testimonies, even if no one watches. But if people do watch, then I get to,
Other people get to hear.
Yeah, other people get to hear these amazing stories from amazing people. So it's a blessing, and the goal is never views or what's the word? Attraction. What's the word?
Engagement.
Engagement. No, I want
popularity.
Yeah, not popularity, not fame, not money, none of that. It was just as I guess as the host, I would love for whoever does watch to actually enjoy it. So if 10 people watched, I'd want those 10 people to enjoy it, or 10 people to want to watch the next one.
And Jonah's a big fan of deep conversations, so I feel like this is a way to force that upon people.
Look,
facilitate that.
Look, we may have recorded the podcast, like a few podcasts before this, and honestly, massive blessings. I would.
So he's already got some podcast film.
Yeah, I would recommend staying tuned. The date and time that I would release. I'm thinking probably every Monday around 4 p.m. And then it might change if I feel like that's not working or whatever.
So every week.
Yeah, it will be a weekly upload for the time being. Again, it might change, but that's the plan. So every Monday, 4 p.m. Hoping to upload a thing. Look, for me, I'm not the best editor. Obviously, I'm not the best podcast host. I'm not very good with cameras or lighting or microphone, but I had a sort of passion project and I just sort of ran with it, trying new things. And I'm really hoping this lasts because I spent a bit of money on it. So if it doesn't last, then I'll be a bit upset. Yeah, and something with me, I mean, this is more like a psychological issue, but if I feel like I'm not doing well or something, it'll destroy me. So if this doesn't do well, like as in people don't enjoy it or something,
he's threatening you.
No, then on me, I still want to continue it, but I know it's going to be difficult for me because my brain doesn't work very well.
I think that's fairly normal to rely on feeling successful to continue and feel motivated.
Yeah, but I don't want that to, like, I want to do it for me as much as
then your goals shouldn't be, you should set your goals now to be one a week for this whole year consistently, so that you have a goal you're working towards, so that can be your motivation rather than seeing people's engagement. Anyway, we don't need this mini therapy session.
I actually had a therapy session at camp last week.
You can't call it a therapy session.
Look, it was a good session. It was just a conversation with a psychologist, pretty much from camp, from church. It was
a conversation with a friend who happens to be a psychologist.
Yeah, well, it was perfect. I think any questions on the podcast that you'll have for me, because I think...
So where are you uploading the podcasts? Do you know?
Yeah, so YouTube and Spotify, main two. It might add more towards the end, but the video will be on YouTube and audio will be on Spotify.
And what's your podcast name on YouTube?
It's all Jonah and the Pod.
Okay. Jonah and the Pod, A-N-D, not and symbol.
Yeah, and
and do you have a theme song entrance?
A theme song. Entrance was an entrance.
I meant intro. I said entrance. Just make one.
Look, I might make one. We'll see how it goes.
Make whale sounds.
Like I said. Oh no. Actually, if you don't know what Jonah and the Pod means, I mean, it's everywhere. But Jonah and the Pod. So Jonah is me, myself. My name is Jonah. Pod is short for podcast, but it's also what you call a group of whales. So a pod of whales. So Jonah and the whales, or Jonah and the whale, Jonah in the Bible, the pod, short for podcast. So it's a pretty clever name. I think Tamara came up with this. So shout out to Tamara.
Good job, Tamara.
Actually, you know what's funny? I think Lauren came up with it like ages ago when I wanted to do the other one.
Good job, old Lauren.
That's funny. But yeah, so Jonah and the Pod, Jonah, me, Pod, whales, book of the Bible, Jonah and the Bible, Pod. What?
So Jonah and the Pod.
Yes.
Your introduction should have whale sounds.
No. Look, I'm planning on making an intro. It might not be on this video. Might not even be on any video, but because, like I said, I'm not good at editing, so I'm still learning. But it'll be a good test for me. Any questions on the pod before we move on?
I guess the last question is, how do you want people to engage? So obviously you want people to come onto the podcast. Yeah. Can people reach out to you to be on the podcast? Or is that you reaching out to people?
Yes. if literally anyone and anything wants to come on the podcast, I don't know what anything means.
I'm like, maybe our dogs.
Literally anyone who wants to come on, I'm more than happy. Even if we don't know each other that well, or like, I don't know.
Yeah.
If you feel, because the thing is, I want to learn, I want to hear from other people. So if I'm hearing from the people I already know, it's like there's still fruit and it's still good, but it'll be even better from hearing from people I don't really know, because it's a whole new story that I don't know, haven't experienced or anything. So yeah, if you do want to come on, please feel feel welcome. Just message me on Instagram, TikTok,
Jonah and the Pod on Instagram,
YouTube comments, anything, literally anything, and we'll set a date and time.
Beautiful,
yes.
I think that's the questions that people probably be interested in. Yeah, I think we can move on to your life story if you want.
All right. Actually, before we move on, the background is looking a bit bland.
Yes.
And the foreground even. If you guys have any ideas, I would love feedback for it all. The setting, maybe the like the actual talking. I know we're pretty rough around the edges right now. Like we're not
Speak
the
for
best.
yourself.
Look, it is going to improve. I really believe that, because it is just the first few weeks that might not be fully up to standard, but we got to start somewhere. So just, I guess, persevere through these episodes.
I think it's a good setup for a newbie podcast. Like it's got cameras, microphones.
Yeah, I did try a bit hard. We'll see how it goes.
Are you going to mention why there's a corkboard behind my head?
Yeah, so
corkboard.
Very random. We have a corkboard behind Anthony, and that's where the guests will be sitting. I'll be sitting on the blue chair, which I should have thought of before. I'm pretty sure this side is like my ugly side. But
the front side.
Yes, but it doesn't matter. What is this hair right here? How cute. Anyway, yeah, so the corkboard, we have a Polaroid camera here, if you haven't seen. And pretty much we have pens. People can sign their Polaroid and stick it up onto this thingy. What's it called? Corkboard. Whenever they like.
Whenever they like.
I mean, wherever they like. Leave me alone. Wherever they like.
So you get to take a photo and then stick it up after your podcast.
Yeah.
That'll be cute when it fills up.
Everything I'm saying.
What?
You have to clarify everything I'm saying.
I can be here as your side podcaster and just clarify every sentence.
It's like those sign language
interpreters. I even helped.
You have to interpret to Jonah.
Good times.
Oh, this tea is so hot.
But it'll be cute when it fills up.
Yeah. And then if we get 100 people, obviously probably 100 people can't fit on here, we'll just get a big one.
I reckon you could fit. Let's calculate estimate. No, I reckon
big.
you could get like. I reckon you could get 100 people up there.
They're pretty big. I was gonna find one, but yeah, that's life with the podcast for the moment. I think let's get into, I guess, my testimony. So this is what other people will be doing, just sharing their testimony. I'll be sort of prompting questions or sort of trying to clarify a few things, learning for myself, all that stuff. But for today, Anthony's going to take my role. We will have a session. Why I keep calling them sessions? Like
I know.
Like sessions. All right, we're going to have an episode with Anthony on the other side, maybe down the track, whenever I'm struggling for an episode and I need it.
Okay, thank you. That's very kind of you.
No, you're just here, you know. So yeah, today, Anthony, you're going to be the host. I'll be the
lead
guest.
by example. And
Yeah.
you can follow my example.
Sure.
Even though you've already filmed some.
I have, yes. All right, so.
Well, I'll start leading now. Do you want to start with I guess, where does your life story / testimony begin?
So it's a weird one because I can start from when I had a subconscious brain, or I could still have a constant, or
What do you
I
mean?
can start from birth, because even at my birth, look, I don't know how true it is because mum told me, so I couldn't experience it. But
You mean so you could start from your birth, or you could start from when you can remember?
Yeah, yeah.
I was like subconscious brain. What does that mean? Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
conscious. Wait, I don't know. Conscious.
yeah,
brain.
from when you can remember. I don't know. Yeah.
So when I was born, this is a bit of a fun fact if you don't know.
So fun.
I was actually born, I think 90 or 99% deaf, which is wild. I was, and then the doctor was just like, yeah, look, he's probably going to be deaf. And then I had 5 operations, did all these stuff, and grommets, all these things. And the doctor said, look, the only reason your son, to my mum, the only reason your son isn't deaf is because he's not lazy. And I was like, well, now, like hearing that now, I was like, bro, I need that unlaziness.
You used your unlaziness in your first 10 years of life.
I was like 1 year.
No, you have your operations for like many years.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah, the operations were over many years.
I need more operations actually. Hopefully this year. Fingers crossed. And that will fix my breathing.
You should have a counter of how many times you get.
No, I'm doing it off microphone, so hopefully they don't hear it.
Oh, that's fair enough.
You probably still will. So yeah, that was just a fun fact. That's how my life started. Praise God that I'm not deaf. So actually starting, obviously, not obviously, but I was born in a Christian home. My parents became Christians, I think, after Jeanette was born.
Before I was born.
Before you were born.
Like just before I was born.
Okay. So Anthony was I
think while mum was pregnant with me, I started going to church.
So so I should probably say who I am if people don't know. But my name
Put this at the beginning of the podcast.
It's all right, little kid. Look, my name is Jonah, obviously. I am 23 years old, born in 1999. I am a 90s baby.
Barely.
Yeah. I work in IT, probably not for long. It depends what you mean by long, but my dream, it's just to serve the Lord in whatever way that is, whether that is missions overseas, whether that's missions here, whether that is working full time, whatever it is. I'm not too sure what God has in store for me or planned for me, but that is me. I enjoy football, as you can see. I'm wearing this jersey. I enjoy
football meaning soccer.
Football
meaning soccer.
One count for Anthony. I enjoy Marvel. I enjoy gaming. I'm a bit of a typical nerd or loser, as you like to say. Anime, all the stuff. Ooh,
bless you.
Just open the door or whatever, the window. What else is there about me? Pretty boring.
I think you said most of it.
Yeah, and then you'll hear my testimony. I guess that will give you more. Sorry, I don't know. We should have started with that, but that's fine. Who cares? Again, it's just all over the place, but it is what it is. What it is.
All right, take a breath.
All right. So starting, I was born in a Christian home. Both parents were Christian. You probably weren't Christian when I was born. You were like 3 years old.
I was 3 years old.
And as you do as a Christian child, you just grow up. You just go to Sunday school. Just do the standard things. Go to church every Sunday. All this stuff. Funny thing is about me, when I was younger, I was always the one to volunteer at church and always go to do you remember those days? I always go at the front on Sundays like doing actions and whatnot. And it was weird because like, I don't know.
It's not dissimilar to now. You're still kind of like that.
That's what I mean. Like,
you're still like that. Oh,
that's what I mean. It's very similar to who I am now because I'm always just like putting
people's
myself
personalities don't change that much over their lifetimes.
It's funny you say that, but we'll get into that. Another one. Now you're making me so self-conscious.
Sorry. Don't worry. We're not keeping a count out.
What was I saying?
So you were engaged at church, and we kind of grew up in church.
Yeah. The thing is, so I became a believer in 2008. So it was my sister's baptism. And leading up to this stage, I thought I was a believer or whatever. I didn't really think about it. I was 9 years old or something. So June 1st, 2008, my sister was getting baptized. It's funny how it all worked out because there was a lot of church drama and a lot of things. My sister got baptized in the backyard of our cousin's house. And during the baptism, we were recording a video just of nice things they can say about my sister. So Jeanette is my sister, so I'll just say Jeanette. And obviously there's a lot of people that said nice things, like whatever. I can't remember any ones. I was 9. But it came to me, I said I did something in the camera. And then that night after the whole baptism, we all watched it back. And then wow. And then sorry, my mum came in.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's all right. Look, the cameras, again, there's going to be some issues with it, but it's okay. Yeah, that's good.
What's happening to this?
Just press it one more time. Sorry about this, guys. Yeah, that's good. No, it's okay. It's fine. Yeah, so we watched the video that night, all the videos, and then in the video, I just did I didn't say anything. I literally just did actions, and I'll do it for this camera here. I think I just did this just to like my sister, and it was cute because I was 9 and whatnot. I didn't say any words, but the weird thing is,
if you're listening, he pointed to himself, then did love heart symbols with his hands, and then pointed out. So I love you.
Yeah.
Interpreter.
He's my interpreter, but it's like opposite because I did sign language and you didn't. Yes, so we watched the video, and then for some reason I just started bawling my eyes out, started crying like it's pretty like self-absorbed because I was crying at something I did, but it's fine.
Like self-love. That was your only expression of self-love.
Oh, wow.
You should do that more often.
No, but I was doing it to Jeanette. It just made me cry. I don't know why.
Okay.
So
beautiful.
I started crying, and then Jeanette's like, "What's wrong with this kid?" So she's like,
"What's wrong with him telling me he loves me?"
Yeah, pretty much. And then I started crying, and then Jeanette, like, I think we go into my mom's room, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I don't know what's wrong." And then again, it was a long time ago, so I can't really remember all the details. And then my sister got Jeanette. My sister got my mum, and then mum was just like, "What's going on? Why are you crying?" And then apparently, again, I was young, don't know exactly what I said, but I trust my mum. My mum said that I said, "You guys have something that I don't." And obviously my mum was like, "Oh, okay." And then she told me that's Jesus Christ and salvation, all that stuff. And then from then, I gave my life to Christ. So this was in 2008, which, praise God, haven't turned back. Well, I don't believe you can turn back, but yeah, it's been a journey since then. The thing is, it didn't feel like much changed after that. Like, obviously I was saved, but I was living the same way. I was two-faced. Like at church, I would be this nice little innocent kid that would go up the front and do all this stuff.
But then at home, you were the devil.
I was gonna say home.
I was joking.
No, at school, I was like the cool kid, or I was like sort of.
Is this primary school?
Yeah, primary school and early high school. I was sort of like, I wouldn't say a bully, but I just didn't care about anything or anyone. No, I don't care about anything, but I care about anyone now these days.
Okay.
That's a lie, by the way. So yeah, I was just like, I always say this: if I didn't make a girl cry once a week, then I failed my mission.
What? I didn't know if I knew this. That's actually sadistic.
No, this is me looking back. Obviously, that's not true. But it's me looking back. That's what it felt like.
You're a heartbreaker.
Yeah, look, it wasn't the best. I'm just exposing myself, but this was in primary school. It's fine. And I genuinely have apologized to those girls.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, because I felt bad. So year 5, 6, 7, and 8, that was like my life. And then year 8, if you're watching this, Evangeline, you actually like, you're the reason that my life changed. This is so random, but we had a Viber group. Do you remember what Viber is?
I never used Viber. Only the old Arabs would use Viber.
Yeah, for some reason we
Call on Viber.
For some reason we had a Viber group, and it was just people from school. Like in my grade, we had a Viber. So Viber is like the old day WhatsApp. Like you said, all the old Arabs use it to call overseas. It was very random. We had a Viber group. I don't know why we were on Viber, but in the group, Evangeline said, or like suggested, who would be keen to do a I was going to say podcast, not a podcast, a Bible study at lunchtime during school. Obviously, I was a Christian at this time. So I was like, yeah, I'm so keen. I'm very, very keen. The thing that destroyed me, or actually built me up, was everyone's shocked that I was keen. Like, it was a shock to me that people were shocked, because I was like, why are people shocked? I'm a believer. This is like something that I should love to do. But everyone's shocked just sort of ruined me. So from then,
what were people saying? Like, they were just like, oh.
Yeah, they were just shocked. They're like, oh, really? Like, what the heck? Yeah. And then from then, that's when life switched. Well, I guess I switched.
It's a wake-up call.
Yeah, it was a wake-up call. I was like, man, this isn't how I should be living. If I'm a believer and I'm living like this, and people are shocked that I want to do a study or I want to be involved, that's a bit wild. Because I was constantly involved at church. I was constantly involved, but at school, I guess I was someone completely different. So from then, funny thing is, I actually was one of the leaders at that little Bible study. It was called PFG, so shout out PFG. So passionate for God, something like that. Shout out you guys.
Paris Saint Germain.
Wow, that was dreadful.
I could have said pig friendly giant. You didn't get that one. Never mind.
I do get that one.
Oh, okay.
I was just give you the look of disappointment. Sorry,
okay.
Drinking tea.
So you were in year 8 at this point. This is when the Bible study started.
Yeah, and from then, I always say this to people: life got a lot more difficult. Since I was trying to take my faith more seriously, means that like friends sort of pushed me away, because again, I didn't say again, I was trying to be better, but it sort of came across as like judgmental, I guess.
So what do you mean?
This is looking back, but like if people swore, I'd be like, hey, you can't swear. Or if people like did dumb stuff, I would be the person to sort of maybe tell them off and like, guys, you can't be doing this or whatever. In my head, it wasn't judgmental. I was trying to do the right thing. But since I was young and foolish.
Yeah. And especially other people are young, the way they receive that might be like...
It came across as judgmental.
Yeah.
So from year 8, I really tried to be stronger in my faith. Stopped taking part in all the... like, I don't know, the disaster. I was never... The thing is, I was never someone that would swear or anything like that. It's just... Like, I would always try and boost myself up rather than boost others up.
Some like holier than thou type.
What is it?
Is that what you're talking about? Like you were like a holier than thou?
I didn't...
Like self-righteous?
I don't think I ever saw it like that.
So it was just, you felt like you were doing the right thing by calling people out, which is right, but it's like at that age, people aren't receptive as much as they...
So I sort of get why friends pushed me away. Like, look, friends is a recurring theme in my life that has been a little bit of an issue. Hasn't been my strong suit. But it makes sense why people would sort of cut me out, push me away. There was like group chats that were being made, like literally identical group chats that just didn't have me. Pretty sad, but it is what it is. Like they would hang out. Like I wouldn't get invites, all these things. This was during school. But I don't hold anything against them because I understand it.
How did that make you feel?
They wanted to live their life, and I guess with me there, they felt like they couldn't live the way they were living. Which honestly, I don't really have. Like, I have regrets in the way I was acting, but I don't have regrets with like what I was doing. If that makes sense.
No, yeah. There's like a way.
There's a way to do it.
You weren't doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But you weren't doing it in a way that was people were going to be receptive to.
Yeah. So like, even though it was very tough, and from then school just became the worst. I had no friends. Well, like, I had friends, but I lost like not all my close friends. I lost a lot of my close friends. Like, it was just...
I feel like there was just distance that grew between you and your friends.
Yeah, it was a distance. I had so many good people in my grade, though. That's the thing. So every group, like, obviously there are groups at schools. I felt like I could be a part of different groups, but I didn't really have that close friendship. I mean, I had Jacob, and still to this day, like, since kindergarten, which is wild.
It's cute.
Yeah, we've been good friends. Friendships, not the best.
Well, that was in high school.
Yeah. So from that stage, school became the worst. Didn't enjoy it. I never really enjoyed school, but I always had friends to enjoy school with. And then, year 9 was the worst, because that was the peak of it. That was the peak of like me losing friends. And Anthony remembers this vividly.
I do.
He was just thinking about it. I saw his face. So every recess and lunch, since I didn't have like close friends in my grade, I would just... The funny thing is, if they listen to this, they would be like, what the heck? Like, I don't think they would...
You're in your head a lot and nothing's changed.
Anyway. I would always just go recess lunch, just play football on the fields. That's the whole thing.
AKA soccer on the field.
Well, they know. So that's everything. Every recess and lunch, I would do that.
And that was like, I remember the only thing that you enjoyed about school was soccer.
Yeah.
It was like, you go to school, you go to class, and then just wait for recess to play soccer, and then...
Yeah, it was literally the only thing like I enjoyed at school. PE, the teams, everything. Honestly, I think in year 9 and 10, I did not wear my normal school uniform once. So we had a sports uniform and a school uniform.
It was one of the school rules. Was that you could only wear your sports uniform on the day that you had sports. Otherwise, you could get like an afternoon detention or just a normal detention.
Yeah. But things I always got away with.
I feel like Jonah had an exception.
I literally always got away with it.
He just refused to wear the normal school uniform.
Yeah, it's like, I have pass. Like pass was our PE class. I have football. I have all these things, but I never did. I wouldn't condone it, but that's what I did. So yeah, in year 9, the one thing that I was holding on to in school.
Was that year 9?
Yeah, year 9 was the worst, but the school decided you're not allowed on the fields anymore because the ball keeps going over and we can't deal with the neighbours. And they just cancelled football, recess, and lunch. And I was devastated. Anthony,
truly devastated.
Look, Anthony, he laughs at me because
I'll tell you a little story.
Go, Anthony. Anthony can.
So it was around the time that they had banned.
Can I say real quick? I was meeting with like the vice principal about this situation.
He was the representative of the.
I was literally representing
council.
It's because it's the only thing I was holding on to anyway. Okay.
So the balls kept going over the fence. That's why they banned it. I don't know if it was the day that they banned it or something.
It was the day.
Okay, the day that they had banned it, I walk into the. So there's the field and then the basketball court next to it. I walk out of the classes into the basketball court. And I see Jonah on the ground, right? And you're like just upset. Yeah. And I'm like, what? He's like, this is like in the middle of the school. Like everyone could probably see him.
It was my grade.
He was surrounded by his grade, but like they were like, wasn't it lunchtime or recess or something?
Yeah, it was.
And then I see him and I'm like, well, what is going on? So I go up to him and I asked him like,
yeah, you were prompting me.
Look, I'm a bully. He's my brother. It's fine. I probably said like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And then usually he would be like, shut up, whatever, go away. But he was angry.
Yeah, look, it wasn't my proudest moment, but
he's yelled at me.
You have to understand, this was the only thing I was holding on in school.
And us two especially, we're not very like confrontational people. We're not very in public. We don't do anything to embarrass ourselves. So for Jonah to do something like that in the middle of like school was so shocking.
Yeah, it's true.
I was like, what? It was very surprising.
Yeah. Look, it was something I was holding on to. And this fact that it got taken away, the only thing that I enjoyed at school got taken away. It was tough because I was going through like, I guess maybe identity crisis where I had no friends. I was trying to take my faith more seriously. I was leading the Bible study still at this stage, but even at the Bible study, there'll be like one person showing up, not many people showing up every week. Yeah, it was tough. But then it's weird because in year 10, I think I just didn't care about anything anymore. I fully didn't care. And I enjoyed year 10 so much more. I can't remember if the fields were open again or not. But
I think they must. Like, I don't know. I don't remember.
I definitely know in year 11 and 12 they were. I wasn't even in year 12. So
I had left the school by then.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, my school life was, I hate school. And when people say I miss school, I'm like, bro, you guys are crazy. Like, I do not miss school at all. School happens. I don't miss it. Towards like year 11, I was getting more involved in youth leading, and it was pretty young for a youth leader. I was 16, 17, becoming a youth leader. At this time, our church was doing something called Matthew 25 Project. Honestly, my favorite time. I personally think, so I used to go to Toongabbie Church, or church in Toongabbie, and there was 3 years where we were doing Matthew 25 Project, and in my opinion, that was the best like time at church.
There was like lots of serving, lots of doing. And so the Matthew 25, do you want to explain that quickly?
Yeah, so Matthew 25 project is, if you have time, well, you can read Matthew 25. I think it's verse 23. This could be wrong. And it just says, I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. There's a bunch of different things. This is Jesus talking. And pretty much as a church, we went through each thing that Jesus says. So we're hungry and you fed me, thirsty. I was prison. I was naked. There's others. And we just went through the list and we just helped the community, helped around everything.
So we did like...
we collected cans for...
Yeah, so for food, we collected cans for... We assembled packages for pregnant like women overseas who needed like pregnancy kits. What else? We had a blood donation like team. Yeah,
we I think we wrote letters to people in prison.
Though if you, I can't remember that. Maybe. Yeah,
we did as a youth, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, there's a lot we did. And as I was 16 at this time, this was in 2016. I had this, we had a camp and I had this idea and I brought it to one of my elders, and the idea was to, I think this is when I was really taking my faith seriously. Like, again, after year 8, that's when the sort of snowball effect happened. And when I was 16, it felt like this thing was on my heart to sort of organize an event for, I don't know if I had the goal in mind. Maybe I did.
As in the monetary goal, like how much money you want to raise?
No, I mean like who we wanted to raise for. So the whole thing was running a football event to raise money for something specific. I'm not sure if I had it in mind, but pretty much people without limbs, we ended up wanting to raise money for them. So I was 16. I don't know my head from my toes. Like, what do I know as a 16-year-old? But the church fully backed me up, which was honestly...
Yeah, everyone got on board.
Which was honestly my favorite. Like, I think mum did a lot more work than I did. But like I said, I was 16-year-old. I just know what I was doing.
It wouldn't have happened if you didn't have the thought. It didn't have the...
Yeah. Honestly, sometimes I look back at like my 16-year-old self and I'm like, man,
it was pretty impressive, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, I want to do more now for that, like that stuff. But yeah, we as a church, we had a goal of 3,000. We raised over 9,000.
Overnight. So it was like the event was a soccer gala day.
Yeah.
And we were like, there was a big team and it was just basically organizing that gala day. And the money that we raised was from if you want to play, you pay.
Yeah.
And
we had jerseys. But when I tell you, it went like...
There were probably like 16 teams or something.
Yeah, 16 teams. It went literally like perfectly. Like, it's not an exaggeration. Like,
it went, yeah. There was like food and
everything
stuff like that.
was just perfect. Even this was like, this isn't really part of my testimony, but this is wild. Like, we were trying to find an organization that helped with people giving prosthetic limbs. Thing is, in Australia, if you don't have, like, if you're amputated or whatever, Australia gives you limbs for free. So we couldn't do it in Australia. So we're looking for something overseas. I won't say that the organization, because like I'll get into it, but we found an organization.
I don't know why I was about to say it. Okay, don't worry.
What?
No, don't say it.
We found an organization. The only reason I'll say, but what they do is I can't remember, Africa or whatever it was, maybe Middle East.
I don't know. I can't remember where.
They build prosthetic limbs. I think it's $110 each. And they build prosthetic limbs to give to people that are amputated from war, from whatever it is, disease, whatever it is. And that's all we thought. We didn't know anything else about them. So we get in contact with them. We say, hey, we're a church. We want to help out. And then they give us all the details. But they also say, can we call you? Like, this is important. So we call them. We get in contact with them. And the reason why I can't tell you the organization name, because they actually were a Christian organization. They can't actually expose themselves to be a Christian organization, because as they were giving the limbs, they would also tell the gospel, but they were in heavy Muslim countries. So if people found out, then they would get wrecked and ruined.
Muslim countries. I don't know. Maybe it's not Africa.
I don't know. It might have been.
There are some. I don't know.
It was, yeah, whatever it was. And this just worked perfectly. And they went off the whole thing was, the whole idea they had was, when Jesus saves the lame, the first thing he says was, you are forgiven. So it's like Jesus, of course he cares about the people that can't walk or whatever. But the first thing he does, like, he actually saves them from their sin. Which we really took that on board, and that was such a blessing for us, because we weren't specifically looking for a Christian thing, but God provided with an organization that was just like unreal, like perfectly for what we wanted, and even better than what we wanted. So that went well. We did it 2016, and then we tried 2017.
The event was called Kick It for a Cause.
Yeah.
Which was abbreviated to Kifak, which means how are you in Arabic?
Yeah, Kifak. And low key, I want to do it again.
It was good.
The
second year was like...
The second year was good. We were a bit dumb with the way we spent money, but that's like, we still made over 3,000. We didn't make as much, but we spent more money in different areas. And then after that, we just stopped. And then this is my testimony, but I don't know why I just decided to share this.
So they serve in over 49 countries around the world.
Oh, there you go. Should I keep going with this, or should I share my testimony?
Up to you. I don't know.
Yeah, this is weird. Anyway, I actually wanted to do it last year. So 2021, I wanted to do it. And this was like, I was still at Swingabi at this time. I come to the elders, like, I want to do this. They're like, sure. We have meetings about it, all this stuff. And then COVID happened, and like, oh, we can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do it for Lebanon, because Lebanon has been through the explosion, the corrupt government, all the bank issues, COVID. It was just a disaster for them. So I wanted to do it, but COVID happened, and it
might just happen in the future.
Huh?
I feel like it could just happen at some stage in the future.
Yeah. But it didn't stop. Like, even though I couldn't do the football event, I was like, let's do a charity live stream. So pretty much just went for 24 hours, and like 24-hour live stream, just online. We went to Five Guys. We did a bunch of different stuff, but it took me you did this. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And each $1,000, I had a different goal, or different forfeit. It's not forfeit, but whatever.
Yeah, a different challenge or a different thing.
Different challenge. So 1,000 had, what was it? I think pour milk on my head, because that was like a thing that, like, it was like an inside thing. This 2,000 was eating like the hottest chili, eating the hottest chip dipped in the hottest chili. 3,000 was skydive, which I did recently. 4,000 was getting a tattoo, actually. Spoiler alert, so you can't even see it. I don't know if you can see it. Spoiler alerts. I got a tattoo. And 5,000 still gonna happen. But whoever donated the most gets to pick what like give me any challenge like
This was
within reason.
a few years ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah, but look,
We'll see what happens.
Actually, there's going to be a video out soon about me skydiving and getting the tattoo, and then maybe a teaser of the 5,000 thing. This will soon come. Anyway, I don't know. I'm sharing. This is not my testimony, but it's things that like with the live stream. I generally worked on it just by myself. No one knew anything for probably around 6 to 8 months. And I guess the reason for this podcast and the reason why I went extremely hard was because, and the reason I'm confident in it is because I was working 6 to 8 months on this podcast, like maybe even longer. And that's why I'm like, it wasn't just a thought that sort of just bypassed, no, just passed, not bypassed. But it's actually a passion of mine. And shout out to Loretta, honestly. Loretta sort of just planted the idea because I've always wanted to do one, and I tried to do one ages ago, didn't work out, and then
It was good. No, your other ones were good.
yeah, it's just like the audio was tragic.
Yeah.
It was more chill. There was no meaning to it. But Loretta's like, you should do another podcast. And then just literally, I remember we were at Macca's where she just said it. And then from that day, I was like, you know what? I'm actually doing
If you say words to Jonah, they might mean things.
Yeah,
Be careful.
And then she's like, people always say that and they never do it. I was like, all right, you can try me. But yeah, I think 8 months later, I'm doing it, which is by God's grace, is still on my heart, which is fantastic. Anyway, this is my podcast. This isn't my testimony, but that's okay.
Okay, you can.
All right, going back to school. I was a youth leader. I was being very involved in serving. This was after school. In 2017, I did a diploma of sport development. Actually, this is so funny how God works. 2017, I did a diploma of sport development, and there I met someone that was working he was doing coaching at Pacific Hills Christian School, and he was doing tennis coaching, which is very odd. This one stopped for some reason. Maybe recording stopped. Oh, sorry. We're just gonna restart the cameras real quick. I'll continue waffling. Just turn it on again. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So he asked if I want to help him at coaching tennis. I've never done in my life, but still, it was just for kids. And then I did this once a week, I think. But from there, I met. So I did some volunteer at Pacific Hills, and then I met someone named Martin Garcia, and he knew me before from. Yeah, so from the actual KIFAC charity thing, he saw me. I was 16 years old, and he encouraged me to go to this thing called the DTC, Discipleship Training Center course. I can't remember. It's with an organization called Word of Life, and then I was just like just sort of brushed it off. And then 2017, he did the same. Because I met him at a volunteering thing at Pacific Hills. I was just helping out my friend. And then Martin sees me. He's like, "Hey, I have a kickoff. Kickoff is an event they used to do, or they still do, where it's like they have inflatables. It's really, really fun, like actually really fun. And they just run like big events for kids and for youth. And then they preach the gospel. Yeah, so he's like, I was 17, I think, maybe 18 at this time, and he's like, "Jonah, I have a kickoff. I want you to come." I was like, "Sure." Like, sure. I just called mom, like, "Mom, I'm going to," I can't remember where, I was somewhere, and I'm doing a kickoff. From then, Martin was like, he's like, hey, I want you to come, and again, just brush it off. It's like, I want you to come to this DTC, a Word of Life, so you can grow and learn. And I was like, yeah, brush it off. 2019, end of 2019, in I think October, they have an event with my church. He sees me there again, and he says to me, Jonah, I really want you to think about joining this DTC. And then actually at that time, because I wasn't doing much, I was working, but I wasn't doing much else. I actually thought about it. And from that day, I was just thinking about it. I had to weigh, like, do I want to leave my youth? It was doing well, but like, again, this is like very salvation complex, I guess. It's like, am I the reason why it's doing well? Like, this is all prideful thoughts. So I had to weigh up a lot. And towards when I had to decide, I literally decided, like, I want to stay. Because I was like, my youth need me. Like, again, it's pretty selfish and prideful. But these are the thoughts that I was having. And I believe that I was doing it for the right reasons, the right ideas. But then God had other plans. So literally, I think probably a week, maybe like 2 weeks before I had to leave, just leading up to the decision as well, my mom was not for it. She was pretty against it, because she had my best interest. She wanted me to make money and then save up, because I wasn't in a financial state to actually move out, go to 4 hours north and pay rent and do all this stuff. But God's grace has provided. He provided two people that were willing to support me. 2 weeks earlier than I had to leave. Again, I was decided that I wasn't going to go. And then I was doing AV tech in the back room. And I was thinking about this in my mind. There was nothing had to do with the worship, nothing had to do with the sermon, nothing. But I started bawling my eyes out because I had to say goodbye to the youth, because I knew I had to go. It's very random. It was just like God directly spoke to me. He's like, bro, what are you doing? Go. I was like, okay. And then I just, started crying, whatnot. And I was like, I have to go. So after that, I leave after church finishes, leave the building. My mom's there. My mom says, Jonah, I'm sorry I haven't been supportive of you. Like, we haven't spoken at this stage. I'm sorry I haven't been supportive of you. I was just bawling my eyes out. I think you should go. And then I was just like, that is wild, because literally the exact same thing happened to me, like during the exact same time, like during church. From then told my closest friends, and then a week later I told the youth. Then after that, I was gone to Port Macquarie. And then 2020, COVID hit. 2020 was the year that was Word of Life, which was tough, because we're supposed to, the whole thing of Word of Life is going out and doing stuff. But then COVID hit. We were very limited with what we could do. But it felt like COVID was really specific to me. It was weird.
The whole thing happened because of you.
No, that's why it felt so weird. It felt like it was just like directed to me, because that's exactly what I needed. I needed just to be, I guess, intensively like looked at. And through Martin, God did that. He just used Martin to help me a lot. I was going through, like, I skipped a lot of my testimony, but I went through a lot of broken friendships. At this stage, I was going through a tough time, I would say, just with a friend of mine. And honestly, after all that happened, I came out 10. No, I didn't come out. I came out better. I came out I should stop pausing after I say dumb things. I came out like 10 times the man who I was, which is like amazing. How long have we been going for? Only an hour.
Only an hour. Just a casual hour.
Yeah.
It's good.
Look, I'm missing so much from my actual like test paper.
I'm sure that you'll fill in gaps as we go throughout the podcast.
My throat is really hurting, but that's all right. Yeah, so 2020 was... I'm literally just skipping to like peak moments in my life. Like there was a lot in between. That was like a lot of negative stuff in between, but...
You don't need to.
Yeah. So yeah, 2020 that happened. 2021, went back to church, started youth leading again.
You're only in Port Macquarie for...
Yeah, I was only Port Macquarie for a year. And then I had the option to stay, but I was like, look, I think I should go again, help my youth out the best way I know, be there for them, all this stuff. By the way, this is when you said your personality never changes. I get that.
No, I didn't say it never changes.
No, but it doesn't change a lot. Whatever. In 2020, like 2020 before, maybe 2021 and before, I was introverted to like the bone. I think maybe because I was like with all the friendship stuff.
You didn't have friends.
Yeah, maybe because the friendship stuff, I was sort of forced into... You got to stop whispering, by the way, because I don't know if it's going to pick up.
That's fine.
Maybe I was forced into introversion. Is that a word, introversion?
It is.
Yeah, well, maybe I was forced into it, but I guess 2022 and onwards, I don't know what happened to me. I'm still like 50.
I know what happened to you.
We got friends.
You found friends.
So 2021, church was struggling. Youth, I feel like was actually doing well, but church in general was struggling quite a bit.
So just like there was periods of over time, people had slowly been leaving, and then
So this was
it wasn't, it was struggling because of that. Like, as in people were leaving. There were like issues with with figuring out the leadership. Yeah. Anyway,
this was in the church in Toongabbie. This was our church from pretty much birth. We had like a 5 years stint somewhere else, but this is our church. And like, even if we see people from Toongabbie to this day, it's just like family, genuinely family. So towards the end of the year, a lot of the elders were like, look, we don't feel like it's growing. We're holding on to something that is dying. And by all means, I believe they made the right choice.
They were burnt out. Like, there was a lot of responsibility on a very small number of people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it was
good for them.
There was not much support, a lot of, I don't know, complaining, whatever. It just wasn't growing, and I think they made the right decision. They were like, we're out. And then a lot of the congregation, including myself and my family, were like, yeah, this ain't for us.
It was a good opportunity.
It was good
to change up.
So from that, I was excited. I was excited, but I was also terrified because I've been at this church for my whole life. It's now time to find a new church. I'm like, I'm not going to find a church that I have...
I yawned so frequently.
Me too. He's yawning with his mouth.
I reckon I've yawned maybe 10 times.
I've been seeing. In my head, I was like, this is a mad opportunity. I'm a bit scared. I'm not going to find someone. I'm not going to find a church that is... Stop being...
I didn't say anything.
Not going to find a church that is like I have the connections with, like Toongabbie. Because Toongabbie was family. So I go around, I was excited. I tell my youth, I was like, look, I'm leaving, but I'm happy to take you guys with me. So if you want to come with, by all means come with. So I had one of my youth kids come with me. We went to one church. Didn't really enjoy it. I was literally, the plan was to church hop, literally 1 week after the other, just church hop. Yeah. And yeah, I wouldn't recommend
like
that.
There were a lot of people who were as we were leaving, we didn't know where we were going.
Yeah.
So everyone was in the same boat of just trying to figure out where to go.
Yeah. I wouldn't suggest church hopping like week by week. I'd say give more time to specific churches. But
there's probably some places that you can feel like, okay,
yeah. So the first week I went, I was like, like a lot of my church people were actually looking at this church as well. I went there, didn't really vibe with it. And then the week later, I go to Graceway Church. And literally, it was funny because I was so close. So the service was very good. I was like, wow, this is amazing. Afterwards, me and my youthling, Jason, my youthling, we're just sort of sitting out. We went outside. We're just like, I actually messaged the family. I was like, we've been here for like 10 minutes. It's a bit awkward. Should we just leave? Because this is all my introversion was. Yeah, it was just not the best. I think it was 23rd of January, 23rd, 28th, something like that.
And I keep going.
And he's gonna search up the messages, but I was literally like, should we leave all this stuff? And then Mum's like, no, like just stay. I was like, fine, I'll stay. But I was still just sitting there for 10 minutes because everyone was inside. What I didn't know is everyone just sits inside and talks. And then I knew Mark. So one of the guys, his name was Mark. I knew him from Toongabbie, but he left like a year earlier or something. He went to Graceway. So he was the one who invited me to Graceway. He said it's so good, whatever. And then I go, and then I just say to Mark, like, no one's here. Like, should I just go? Mark's like, no, I'll go get people. When people came outside, I was genuinely somehow having like 3 to 5 conversations at a time. Like it was just like straight, like pure love from people.
Was this the first day?
It's just the first day. Did you find them?
I found the messages.
What did I say?
This is Jonah says, I don't know what to do. I'm awkward. We're just standing around not knowing what to do, laughing emoji. And I just said, who? And then my mum said, go talk to people. And then Jonah said, Jason. And then he responded to my mum saying, ugh. And then I said, isn't Mark there? Mark is from Toongabbie.
Yeah.
And then Jonah said, yeah, but I told him don't be awkward with us. I don't know. And Mum said, Jonah, this is where you need to step out. And then Jonah said, step out and leave, ? And then Mum said, you know people there, go talk to them.
I didn't know anyone there. I didn't Mark there.
And then she said, no, loser. And then Jonah said, I don't know though. And then Mum said, I don't know. We say a lot of I don't knows.
It's true.
And then so Mum continued, Mark should introduce you to people or just go up to someone and start talking. And then I said, I hate Parramatta parking. And then the conversation just...
Yes, I was genuinely contemplating leaving. But if I left, I mean...
Oh, wait. And then hours later, 6 hours later, Jonah sends a location. He goes, no idea where you are. He says, no idea where I am. I said, lol, what are you doing? At a park. And Jeanette says, are you still with church people? And he said, I was.
So this is so I was an introvert at this stage, like fully introverted. So me, I guess, approaching people and talking to people was not part of my nature. Like it just felt super uncomfortable. The funniest thing is I started having 5 conversations at the same time. Then I took Jason back home because he wasn't driving at the time. He lives 35 minutes away from church. I took him home. I live 10 minutes from Jason. And I went back to church. They're still just sitting around just talking. And then I stay like I go out to lunch with them. They went to a park afterwards. They probably went to a cafe. They probably went to a cafe afterwards, and then they went to a park. And this is my first time ever meeting like all these people except one person. I stayed out to the park, and then I had to go because I had football. I literally would have stayed, but it was extremely wild.
You went from I'm gonna leave to hanging out with them
till like 6 p.m.
for 6 hours.
And the thing is, they went to a park that was like 40 minutes away, and I still went. It's like my delinquency.
Things haven't changed since.
I mean, like that was the big change, to be honest.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. But literally from then, haven't visited another church. Just like call that church home, pretty much. And God, literally, is like, you think you can't get to Ngabi, like, and he like doubled it, he tripled it. It was just, yeah, honestly amazing. And I'm sure a lot of Graceway people are probably watching this. So honestly, so much appreciation for each one of you.
How sweet.
God really provided you with me. Provided me.
This podcast is arrogant.
It's arrogant. They provided. What is it? Provided me with you. That's right.
Yep, sure.
Because from having no friends to, I say no friends, from having very limited amount of friends, to having
limited. You had limited quality friendships, and close connections. You had people like we had in Tingabi. Everyone was friends, and I had lots of close friends. But Jonah didn't have that strong connection with them.
There was no one like really my age bracket. There was, but it was like, I don't know. It felt
there
weird.
were a few people. Everyone was a bit older, or a lot younger.
All my friends were youth, which is probably not the best thing.
Yeah, you were the youth leader.
Yeah. I was just thinking about like so much I missed. That's fine. So last year, just really made a lot of friends. Had so many deep, meaningful conversations. Did some things that like helped me immensely.
You're talking very vague.
I know, because I don't want to be in detail about certain things.
You just grew lots of connections and were able to find
a lot of, I guess, self-analysis from myself, like realizing a few things about me.
It was the year of realizing stuff.
Yeah.
I was quoting Kylie Jenner.
I don't know. I don't know who Kylie Jenner is. So it was honestly amazing. A lot of growth, a lot of friendships that were just unreal. And then this year, I think it's like I got more involved in church. I mean, I got involved last year in church, but this year it's been a lot more involvement. I'm a youth leader, official youth leader now, AV team. We're starting a missions team. I don't know if I should say that, but starting a missions team.
Spoilers.
Yeah, a little bit. Which I'll be actually like leading, which is wild. Just been, and I'm the games guy. Whenever there's a games night or people need games, it's just Jonah can do it, which I enjoy. Sometimes it could, I'm just self-deprecating. So every time I do something.
No, look, we had a camp recently. Jonah ran the games night, and he was. It's very draining. I can talk from my own experience. It can be very draining to run a games night. And once the games night's finished, your state of mind goes into, I need to go to bed forever. But like,
I don't know,
and you start looking at the negatives and you go, and so Jonah takes like, oh, I'm always self-deprecating. But no, like it's exhausting to run a games night, to control like 50 adults. And
the thing is that I love it, but it's just, I felt, and this is what, you know how I said at the beginning, I had a conversation with a friend that was a psychologist. That's like one of the main things we spoke about.
Yeah, good.
It's because like I always think the worst. Anyway, why are we having psychology sessions with you guys? I always think the worst of myself. So like, I thought the games night ran like poorly. Like I thought it was trash, but everyone that spoke to me said they really enjoyed it. It's a weird one.
Thing is, people like in that, but also in general, if you're organizing something, you're probably going to enjoy it the least. It's like the way it goes is just, it typically is like people won't see the flaws, people won't see the the negative things, or even if negative things happen, they're not like, oh, that was annoying. It was just like, aha.
It's honestly,
but as the host of an event or anything,
you know, every little detail.
You're nitpicky. It's like even people on their wedding days, I feel like, do they even enjoy their weddings? I don't know.
But to be honest, like if I invite people over and I organize an event, I actually enjoy. I think I get more joy out of like making people enjoy themselves, like being the reason why people are having fun. I actually love that. But sometimes I just like, if it doesn't go to plan.
But the thing is, the camp night went, like, it seemed like it went to plan. Anyway, we don't need to go down this rabbit hole.
It's like AV. It's like when AV sort of something goes wrong, like I'll be like, just be like, what, like everything just went wrong. But then you ask people that in the congregation, they're like, I couldn't notice a thing.
It's not even about not noticing. It's about, even if we notice,
it's not that big.
It's like,
yeah.
It's like, who cares? Okay, someone's volume was a bit low, or the screen was off, or they didn't change to the right song. Like, who cares?
Yeah, it's true. Look, this year I think is focused for me personally, is focused on me improving myself in so many different areas. Improving, I guess, my mindset. Just because I realized like there's a lot of things that I do, and I think negatively and not in the right way. And I sort of want to sort out. I want to figure out my voice, because my throat is killing me. I assume it's with my breathing, but that's something I want to work on. My physical state, I want to work on that a little bit. The main thing, and I had this goal from the beginning of the year, I want to get better at evangelizing and just telling people about Christ, because we're all called to do that. Maybe some of us, me, aren't very gifted at it. I think I work better with believers, but I mean, we're all called. The Great Commission is make disciples, baptizing them and teaching them. So I think I've been doing the teaching them, haven't been doing the making them. That's my goal now. Was there any questions? Look, I missed a lot, my story, my testimony, but that's fine. I'm sure down the track I'll be sharing a lot of experiences like through other people. And whatnot.
No, it was good.
Yeah.
Good summary of your life.
By the way, the time would probably be around like an hour 20 to an hour.
As in each podcast will be.
An hour 20 to 2 hours.
There can be, some people think that's long. If I see a 2 hour podcast, I'm like, yeah, this is a pretty long podcast. But the beauty of podcasts, you can listen to them while driving. Yeah.
Put me on 2 times speed, but I don't care.
Oh, that's what I do as well.
Probably better for you.
If it's an hour and a half and you put on 2 times speed, 45 minutes, that's one drive to church.
It's true. For it's not for everyone.
Yeah, no, I was just joking.
But yeah. Any questions on that or anything else I should add?
Like, I think you covered it well. Yeah, you said your goals for the year.
Year. What'd you say, American?
I do that sometimes. I just randomly.
Year. I do that as well, actually.
No, I don't have any questions. Maybe I should.
No, that's okay. Yeah, honestly, this was just an intro, and I'm really hoping it gets better. The next few, I believe, are very good. If you guys don't enjoy it, that's fine. I would love for you guys to enjoy it, but yeah. Is that everything you want to?
Yeah. Well, like, yeah, I feel like if anyone has things they want us to talk, want you to add to the podcast. It's still a work in progress.
Yeah, please, feedback is more than welcome. Doesn't mean I'll listen to you. I mean, it doesn't mean I'll... I shouldn't say that. Why? It's very prideful today. It doesn't mean I will...
You want me to interpret for you?
What's the word? I'm trying to...
He might not put things into action.
Yeah, what's the word? Implement.
Implement.
That's the one. Right? It doesn't mean I'll implement them, but it'll be nice to have some feedback and some ideas because, yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching.
Like, subscribe. Tweet me at Jonah And The Pod.
So something you'll notice, I'm getting the guest, or I'm giving the option to the guest to do the outro.
Have you been doing that? And have they all done it?
Yeah, but it's just like I'll finish it off for them, but pretty much they've been doing it. So you'll get to see that. You're not really a guest, but you want to do the outro?
The outro to what? Like, subscribe?
Yeah, all that stuff, yeah. Where can they find us? Or I mean, they know that, but
like this video or this podcast. Hey, wait, are you uploading to Apple to Spotify?
Yeah.
Like officially you have an account and stuff? I don't know how it works.
Yeah. If everything goes to plan, yeah. I have an account already, but
I don't know if they have ratings on Spotify, but if they do,
no, they do. They have 5-star ratings.
Give it a 5-star rating. If it's on YouTube, give it a like, subscribe for sure. On Instagram, follow. That's it.
TikTok.
You have TikTok?
Yeah, so I was thinking of doing clips and stuff for TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, it's just the editing.
TikTok, Jonah And The Pod. But look, start slow and then add on.
Yeah. Look, everything will be in the description anyway.
True.
Just say like that.
If you're on YouTube, go to the description. There's Mum's phone's ringing.
They can't hear that. That's fine. Yes, thank you for watching. Thank you, Anthony, for being my guest / host. Thank you for Mother for fixing the cameras. And I shall see you guys next week, next Monday, 4 p.m. Inshallah.
Yes.
See you then. All right. Peace.
Bye-bye.